I want my niece to be just like you when she grows up, are the words someone said to me this past weekend. I can't even put into words what that comment meant to me when hearing it. Now let's get a little bit vulnerable here. Recently, I have felt that I'm not good enough in many different areas of my life, and I'm not going to get into detail of those areas in this video specifically, but let's talk a little bit about the context of where that comment came from. I was working at Expo and getting to know the other ambassadors that were at the booth for the brand I was there with, creating content for the weekend. Something about me is that I love meeting new people. It truly brings me so much joy. From someone who left their 9-to-5 job and works from home now a good portion of the time and is alone a lot of that time, I love to get out there and interact with other human beings. I love to hear about life experiences, accomplishments, even failures, and what's made that person who they are today. One of the women I was talking to pretty continuously throughout the entirety of the weekend, I would say was probably about 10 years older than I am. I'm 25, and she's a completely different stage of her life and completely different career path. And, we were talking at the expo, and then there was an after party after the expo on the Saturday night. And naturally, I think you talk about what you do for a living a little bit, but it wasn't like the focal point of the conversation. And there was so much opportunity after the expo and at the after party to dive in a little bit deeper. You got some liquid courage in your system, and you might start speaking a little bit more honestly, or I guess from the soul, if that makes sense. Anyway, we got to talking a little bit about our upbringings and what has made us the people we are today, and the growth and development in a person changing, I guess, from year to year. It just felt like a casual conversation where I really felt like I could be myself, and I wasn't trying to impress anyone or embellish any of my stories or chapters in my life. So the woman I was talking to had mentioned she had a niece. I want to say she's around 6 or 7, so quite young. And, there was just a pause in the conversation. We both maybe had a sip of our drinks, and she just looked at me and was like, I want my niece to grow up to be just like you. When I tell you my eyes glossed over, that was probably the nicest compliment I've ever received in my entire life. That compliment trumps any physical compliment I've ever received because it's on my person, my character, and me. I guess the takeaway from this video that I'm trying to communicate is, even when you feel the lowest of lows, or you're not exceeding all these expectations in all these areas of life, there's still someone out there that thinks you're pretty cool. And I'm gonna hold on to those words that woman said to me for a very long time.